Are you struggling to write your book? Most writers sit down and try to force a story onto the page, but the best books, the ones you can't put down, all start the same way, with one simple idea and a bunch of questions. Here's the truth. You don't need a perfect outline. You don't need a writing ritual or to sit there and write for 8 hours a day. What you need is to ask better questions. This is one of the most powerful approaches to storytelling I've ever come across. And it's from screenwriter Glenn Gers.
Those 6 questions basically will help you write anything.
But we're going to adapt it to writing books. So let's break down how you can build a compelling story, get unstuck, and actually enjoy the writing process. You've probably heard people say a story needs a beginning, a middle, and an end, or there has to be a 3-act structure, or plot first, then character. And yeah, those things are useful eventually. But Glenn explains this in a way that is so much simpler and honestly more helpful and just a lot more human. Glenn has 25 years of writing experience and an Emmy under his belt. So he's someone we should listen to. At its core, a story is just this: a character trying to accomplish something and running into obstacles along the way. That's it. Whether you're writing about one person or 11 different characters, it always comes back to this. Every character thinks that they are the main character, and they are all trying to get somewhere, achieve something, or figure something out. And the story is what happens when they come up against other people, inner fears, or unexpected problems that get in the way. That tension between what they want and what's in their way, that is your story. Think about it like this. A character wants to get a suitcase onto a train. If they just walk up, put it on, and leave, that's not a very interesting story. But if someone steals the suitcase, or they're terrified of the train station, or there's something important inside the case, well, now we're talking. When you're writing your book, don't worry about coming up with a big plot twist right away. Start by asking these questions. What does my character want? Why can't they get it? What do they try? And what happens when that doesn't work? Obstacles don't always have to be another person. Obstacles could be fear, shame, a secret, even something like procrastination. In fact, some of the most relatable, powerful stories are about internal struggles, wanting to be brave but being scared, wanting to let go of the past but at the same time clinging to it, wanting love but pushing people away. So if you have a character and they want something, and there's something in the way, you've got the bones of a great story and ultimately a great book. Here's where things get really exciting. Writing isn't about having all the answers. It's about asking the right questions. Glenn calls it the process of writing through questions. And honestly, this changed the way I write forever. You don't need a 100-page outline. You don't need to know the ending before you start. You just need to be curious. Here are the 6 questions Glenn uses to build any story. First, what is it about? 2, what do they want? 3, why can't they get it? 4, what do they do about that? 5, why doesn't that work? And 6, how does it all end? Write those down and use them like a compass. And here's the cool part about this strategy. Every time you answer one of those questions, it leads to more questions. That's the process. You're discovering the story by staying curious. Who is it about? Okay, maybe it's about a woman who wants to reconnect with her estranged father. What does she want? Forgiveness. Why can't she get it? Maybe he won't speak to her. Okay, so what does she do? Well, maybe she shows up uninvited. Maybe she writes him a letter. Maybe she tracks down a family secret. You can see how one question then opens up an entire world and the story itself. If you would like a professional editor's opinion about your book, get in touch. We have some of the best editors in the world who know how to make any story shine. The links are below. Now let's talk about process for a second. I see a lot of people trying to push their process on other writers, the gurus that you see online. I would like to make it clear, there is no one-size-fits-all approach to writing a book. Some people write every morning at 5 a.m. Some people do it in short bursts between work, dinner, or on their morning commute. I used to think I had writer's block, but really what I figured out is I just hadn't discovered how I like to write. You know, maybe you need silence, or maybe you work really well in a noisy coffee shop. Maybe you like to outline, maybe you like to free write. The point is to try stuff. Pay attention to what works for you, not what Instagram or the latest writing guru is saying that your writing routine should look like. Importantly, your process isn't supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to get the work done without making you miserable. Finally, you don't need to write your book in one perfect flow. You just need to put something on the page. Glenn talks about writing scenes with placeholders. This is the part where he comes home and feels miserable. This is similar to the JQ method of writing, another video we did before. I'll put a link to that video down below. And that's enough to start. So next time you open your document, you can ask, how do I show that he's miserable? Maybe he throws his dinner at the wall and boom, you've got a scene. Writing isn't always about inspiration. Sometimes it's about creating enough structure for your creativity to latch onto. I find it's helpful to think about it like this. You're not chiseling out a masterpiece, you're sketching it, you're layering, you're building something real step by step. So let me know in the comments down below if you plan to use this method and what you found most valuable. YouTube will now be recommending another one of my stellar videos to help you become an unstoppable writing force. So go ahead and watch this one next.